Hi, welcome to Take 5. I'm Brian Crane with Intero Real Estate Services in Los Gatos, and I'm here to explain a business tool that I used with buyer clients to help me more effectively work with buyers. The tool is called the Home Buyer Checklist, and it accomplishes many things and makes your job much easier. So what we're going to do is go through and explain the different things that the Home Buyer Checklist takes care of. So there are 5 basic things that the Home Buyer Checklist will allow you to do. Number 1 is it helps your buyers understand what it is that they want. So oftentimes I find buyers aren't on the same page. You have a husband and a wife that want 2 different things. So what I like to suggest is that the husband and the wife fill out a checklist, and then they come together and do another checklist so that you know what it is that they want. They know what it is that they want. So that's number 1. Buyers understand what it is that they're actually looking for. They fill this out in pure logic. Oftentimes we find that the buyers get emotional when they buy a house, and if they fill one of these out for you, they're going to be logical when they're filling this out. A week later or a month later, they're going to find a home, they're going to be emotional, and it's nice to reference back to the checklist and be able to check that emotional decision with some logic. So that's the first thing. It helps your buyers figure out what it is that they want. Number 2, it helps you actively listen to what it is that your buyers want. A lot of times buyers, when they're frustrated with the home buying process, some of their comments might be that their realtor really isn't listening to what it is that they say they want. So my goal with the Home Buyers Checklist is that the buyers really feel like you are listening to what it is that they say they want. So once you get a copy of the checklist back from them, you're able to call them and go through it entirely with them so that they understand and you understand exactly what it is that they're looking for. Number 3, this checklist will help you build a realistic search for your clients. When you're going to be inputting the search into the MLS, you're able to make sure you're not missing anything that might be very important to them. So that's another thing that it'll help you build that search for them and make sure the search is accurate. Number 4 is probably the most beneficial part of this tool, and that is that it helps when you're showing property. When I'm showing property, I always have the checklist with me, and the buyers will also have the checklist with them. So as we go, we're checking the properties I'm showing them against the checklist that they filled out. So one of the closing questions you could ask them is, how does this home match up to the checklist? And instead of listening to the Giants game or listening to the radio, you could turn that off and actually be communicating with your clients, asking them, how does the home we just saw match up to the checklist? So it's a fabulous way for you to verify and to check in with your buyers on every house you see. The other thing that I always do with my buyers is I play a game that say, let's just find 3 that we like. We're going to see 6 today, but I only want you to remember 3, and I want you to order them in their most importance to you, the ones that match up to your search the best. So using the checklist after we see each home, which one matches up to your checklist the best? At the end of showing property, you've got 3 properties, all of which match up to their checklist. The 5th thing that this checklist will allow, and a very nice tool to use, is it allows you to help the buyer get over buyer's remorse. We know they'll have buyer's remorse. We all get buyer's remorse, no matter what it is that we buy. It's more intense, though, when we have buyer's remorse is always more intense as the purchase price goes up. So my goal would be to, once I call the buyer and tell them they bought a home, I also ask them to revisit their checklist, and they'll be able to verify that the home matches most of the things that they said they wanted. And typically I joke with the buyer and I tell them, you'll sleep much better tonight knowing that the home that you've bought matches most of the things that you said you wanted back when you were completely logical and before the emotion of the home purchase jumped and took over. So that is the Home Buyer Checklist. I hope you enjoyed this segment of Take 5 with Brian Crane.